I am back. and huh, I thought I was listening to um one of those long AI generated music scores, but it was just a YouTube short. So let me go to the main dilly. um I don't know, Star Wars lo-fi. I'm gonna do pop culture lo-fi. Uh, Something wrong with it. It's not playing. Uh, oh well. There's only two from which to pick: pop culture lo-fi or Star lo-fi. So Star Wars lo-fi, it will be. That doesn't work either. Huh? Interesting. Do I have to go to Tokyo Tunes? No, I'm gonna look up another anime lo-fi. I'm really in the spirit for anime lo-fi because I was watching anime. I'm currently watching the new season of My Hero Academia. Well, actually, it started in May, but I didn't know it started in May. But apparently, all the seasons are already up on Hulu/Disney Plus. So we're watched the first two episodes, and the first two episodes came off with a hitch. Like I didn't expect it to go down on the first two episodes, but this is why I'm glad that my brother-in-law recommended I start watching that show because it is My Hero Academia is that stuff. It is that stuff. What about this guy? It says best anime openings, but it's lo-fi remix extended edition 2 hours. I could do that one, or I should do popular anime openings, but it's lo-fi remix. I'm gonna try that one. So, like I said yesterday, I'm done with politics. Got that out of my system for last week. And what's up, Sky? How you doing, Tunes VR? So yeah, I got the politics out of my system last week. So today is ask me anything appropriate. And to answer that one, the one guy, Liam MC. No, I'm not gang affiliated. And anyone who was wouldn't be stupid enough to say that on air anyway. That's pretty fucking dumb. And I think you're probably pretty fucking dumb yourself. Oh, in case you didn't know, so when I have asked me anything, you can ask me anything, but if you ask me something stupid, I will roast your ass. Trust me, because you sound like a fucking retard, Liam MC. Moving on. I'm not giving anyone shout outs unless you give me a super chat. If you're one of my regulars, yeah, but I don't know you, so I only give shout outs to my folks who are regulars or who drop in a super chat or a super sticker. Jaden says W stream. Thanks, bro. So yeah, you guys can ask me anything in case you want to know more about my background, because all of you are new in the stream. I see. I do have a background in things like behavioral science and then philosophy and linguistics. So if you want to ask me anything about that, that's cool. If you want to ask me anything about pop culture, current events, that's cool. If you want to ask me anything about politics or music or art or history, that's cool. The only thing you're not gonna get much from me is video games and sports. Those are two things I don't really do that much. So, or you would ask me anything martial arts or fitness related, that as well. I have some expertise in. So, as I am a self defense coach part time. So, if you want to ask me stuff like that, or just any random questions, I'll take. As long as they're appropriate, as long as they're respectful. Mission says Trump or Biden. So I definitely know you're new because you clearly didn't see everything I posted last week. It was Trump, and I've been saying for over 6 months that was whom I was supporting, and I gave numerous reasons for my for my views on things. I'm planning on doing. I was going to do a video earlier, but my friend and I didn't hook up for the time. Possibly we'll do it later this week, and we're gonna go more. We're gonna have like a little discussion about the election and all that other sort of stuff. But I've talked about it ad nauseum throughout last week, and I've given my views on it. I told people how I voted because I did early voting, so I actually brought out the sample ballot and showed people the decisions on my sample ballot and which I was going to choose. And I did that very thing when I went to the ballot. So I mean to the vote to vote because I got to vote early 2 weeks prior to election day. So all of that's on here. Chill with Blake says, "What's your job?" So part time I do self defense coaching and fitness, but my job that pays me, um, I do lead generation and direct marketing. So Tunes VR says, "I appreciate that you're subscribed, bro, but when I was like, so I only recently got monetized over the summer. Until then, you know, I'll do shout outs and this and that. But I told people when I do get monetized, that's going to change. Now, unlike other YouTubers, I still have, will chat with everyone in the chat room. And let's be honest, a lot of guys don't do that. They will often only talk to the people who drop super chats and super stickers. I chat with everyone, but if you're asking me to do something specific, I'm going to ask that you drop a super chat or a super sticker. Those can cost as little as $1. So people are going to pay me for my time because I'm literally doing this for free. So again, I've already said your name when I acknowledge you in the beginning. So, but I appreciate the subscribe. Um, but guys, like I said, some of these dudes come on YouTube and they rack up thousands and thousands of dollars per stream. I'm not talking about like per day or per week, like per stream. And I'm never like telling people I need X amount of likes, I need X amount of subs, I need X amount of super chats, so I'm gonna or I'm gonna cut the stream off. I don't do that. But what I do say is, hey, if you're gonna ask me like to do something like a shout out or something like of that nature, then drop me a super chat or super sticker. Or if I'm doing like a specific topic, so say like I'm talking about Trump or talking about some specific current event that just happening or something really abstract, because sometimes I'll talk about like really abstract bull session type stuff that you might talk about in your dorm room at 2 a.m. Um, and like someone would want to change the subject. And I'm like, all right, well, that's not what I'm talking about. But hey, if you want to talk about that, cool, drop a super chat. That's all I ask. Other than that, you can ask me whatever questions. But if you ask me to do shout outs or birthday shout outs or anything like that, I don't really do that unless you give me a super chat or a super sticker. Because I would expect no less if I came to your stream as well. Brent Peterson or Donald Trump. I don't know who Brent Peterson is. Um, like I said, I've already said who I voted for. It was Donald the Don. So I don't know who Brent Peterson is. Sorry. Um, Tim's VR says, look at the comic section. The comment section or comic section? I'm confused. Are you talking about the comment section here? I'm not confused what you're talking about. Chill Blake says W Trump. Jaden Melendez says damn 100K is wild. I don't think I said 100K, but no, I'm saying like some of the high performing like content creators, they'll live stream and like yeah, they will literally get thousands of dollars per stream. Like Kevin Samuels, he would tell you quick like, hey, I'm gonna cut the stream off if you guys don't drop X amount of chats. I mean like X amount of super chats, X amount of likes, and yada yada yada. Or what he would normally do is he would just pause the stream and then put on like a little filler where like usually it was like a woman dancing or it would just be like some sort of obnoxious music. But the problem was that he played it so much that people started liking it. um but yeah, like these guys, like these high level content creators, like they'll do streams and like I said, they'll demand like thank you chill with Blake, he just dropped a super sticker, I appreciate you bro. If you want to ask me anything, go right ahead. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Chat room. You said Brent. I still don't know who Brent Peterson is, Liam. You're saying Brent Peterson or Donald Trump. I don't know who Brent Peterson is, to be honest. Like when I looked over the list of folks running, either nationally or who I could select from here in Maryland, I don't remember a Brent Peterson unless that was like one of those write-in guys. Like there. So here in Maryland, there was Trump, of course. There was Harris. There was RFK Jr., who was no longer running, but he was still on the ballot. There was the libertarian guy. I forgot his name, but it wasn't Brent Peterson. And it was Jill Stein. Those those were the only those were the only ones you could pick unless you wanted to do a write-in. And then they had a list of possible write-ins as well. He might have been in the list of write-ins, but um, I don't remember his name. So Joe Blake says if I donated $1, would it help? Absolutely. So yeah, you already did that, and I appreciate it, my friend. Shout out to you. Agatha says, hello, good night to you, sir. Just here, enjoying the night out. How are you? I'm doing well. So you're in the Cayman Islands, right, Agatha? Um, Living it up. Like you, I guess a lot of black women with money just said, hey, I'm dipping out the country for a few days. My mom did the same thing. She just went to Morocco today. So shout out to my mom. She went to Morocco. She wasn't feeling it Wednesday morning. I was doing my best not to gloat, but I didn't say anything. I just posted stuff on my social media, but I literally didn't discuss this with anyone other than one of my friends who already knew the deal. But I keep my social circle where I discuss heady things like politics and religion very small, like literally like one or two people. So my wife and my and one of my homeboys, like that's it. So, but I was waiting for you to hit me up, Agatha, on IG or whatever, so you can let me know what's ever on your mind right now, because you should be chilling. Like you got the future hubby, right? Um, you're chilling in the Caymans. Like who can just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to the Caymans this weekend because man, I'm tired of this BS. That's balling. You know what I'm saying? uh, Jaden says, "Wow, uh, www WQ." Chill Blake says, "Hope the dollar helps." Sorry, that's not. No, absolutely helps, brother. Like I will never poo poo any amount ever. Like I don't care if it's 1 cent. That's 1 cent someone gave out their own wallet. I will never poo poo any amount ever. Yeah. Anyone who would do that, even the big dudes, like even the big time content creators, I've never seen them poo poo any amount because it would just be, first of all, it would be ungracious of them. So that's why I've seen no one do it that I know of. And then second, it's just it's flattering, to be honest. Like someone someone talked me into doing this 2 years ago, and I told him, I was like, man, no one wants to hear me rant. He was like, nah, bro, it's funny. I was like, yeah, but I'm not trying to be funny. He was like, I know, that's what makes it funny. I'm like, oh, okay. So I think people do get a chuckle out of stuff that I'm saying, even though I'm being serious, but whatever. Jane says free 99 cents. I know, right? That's man, shoot. 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 Dollar menu, bro. Shoot. All day. And coffee. Agatha says yes. That's nice of her. Yeah, for real. I told her bring me back a kafia scarf, a shamag, because we use those in the military. And I mean, I'm no longer in the military, but I would use it with my in my bug out bag. Like if I have to disperse, I would either keep, I would either use the shamag to cover my face in like certain weather conditions, or I need to hide my identity in certain situations, or I have one of those mouth thingies that people wear when they're like mountaineering and stuff. I have one of those in my bug out bag too. So remember, it doesn't look like a bug out bag. It just looks like a regular sports bag. That's on purpose. I don't want it to look like a bug out bag. It's not. It's nothing with a bunch of camo and Molly webbing all over it. It's supposed to be discreet, and that's what it is. More more gray man, less tactical man, but still tactical. uh, James has mine too. He said, "Have you been to Puerto Rico before?" Not yet, bro. Um, when I was in the army, I worked. We trained with this Puerto Rican unit. They were cool as shit though, but they were they were bad cool. Um, I wish I got to go there. I mean, I still may. It's not on my bucket list, but because it's usually when I think of traveling overseas, I think of traveling overseas where I need to use my passport. So I haven't traveled anywhere overseas where I don't need a passport yet. So that would actually be a good one to put on the list. Because for some of you don't know, like America has so many territories that would be worth going to, even if you don't have like for people who don't have a passport. Say like you got child support, or you got some, um, you're still under legal custody for some reason. We don't need to go into that. Or you're, or you're just looking for something that's within the states. So if you're looking to go to somewhere cool within the states, Puerto Rico's an excellent place. The U.S. Virgin Islands is as well. Like St. Thomas. There's even a historically black college and university the island of on the island of St. Thomas. I mean, on this in the city of St. Thomas on the U.S. Virgin Islands. Um, there's Guam. There's also American Samoa, um, and there's the Northern Mariana Islands. All of these are um, all of these territories are places where people actually live. We have other territories, but not where people live. All of those places are where you have like actual like people living there. So, and you have a lot of people in the Samoans, like, so they may live in Western Samoa, but they'll come over to American Samoa to have their child just so that that child will be born an American. So, and a lot of them on the islands end up joining the military because so they can get more benefits as a U.S. citizen, and they get this. That's that's usually their way of getting into the continental United States is by joining the military. So I've seen a lot of folks from Puerto Rico in the military, um, and I've seen a few from the Pacific Islands, like I said, like Guam and places like that. Agla said I had to leave for a while. She said, "True, I'm tired. Had to take a mental break." That's cool. I understand. Like I said, for me, I was rejoicing, but I get why some people weren't. At least you took a mental break. You went on vacation instead of posting a video on TikTok of you breaking down in your car. That's you took a much healthier approach because they were literally sending people texts to tell them to join in virtual grievance sessions, and I'm like, yo, that is so bonkers. So because I mean, and even coming from like a psychological perspective, I get why they were having these virtual grievance sections to have this catharsis, but it's been known in scientific psychology for like over 60 plus years now that catharsis doesn't work. If anything, it just um, aggravates the problem. So, uh, James says W Rome. He said one sub. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it a lot. He said, so if you had 1 mil, what would you do? I will buy my secondary passport. And that's what I do with my 1 mil. But I wouldn't buy it somewhere where I would have to spend the entire amount like Malta, because Malta, the so a lot of countries have what's called citizenship through investment programs. In case you guys don't know, so if you ever want to ball out, you win a lottery or you got some money, consider getting a secondary passport. These secondary passports come with citizenships in these other countries. The classic one is the one from St. Kitts and Nevis. They are probably one of the first people to do the citizenship through investment programs. They give you these, in which you get a passport as a result. Um, and they've gone up in years, but they're pretty affordable. Like they used to start at like around 50,000. I think currently the cheapest is Saint Dominica. Um, I'm not. I'm sorry, not since Dominica Island. Um, is probably one of the cheapest. Then you also have St. Kitts and Nevis. They're still one of the classics ones. The only reason they've gone down a bit just because since they were used the biggest program for people getting secondary passports, a lot of countries started giving a side eye to people with these St. Kitts and Nevis passports because some people might be doing it for like reasons that may not be too kosher. Whether you're looking into doing stuff in intel or international criminal. So the St. Kitts and Nevis isn't as popular as it used to be, but it's still one of the main ones. Malta is a really good one too, but again, that one costs about $1 million, so I wouldn't get that one. I would probably get the one from like Grenada, um, Dominica, or Antigua, Antigua, or one of those places. Africa has a few as well, but yeah, I would get a secondary passport if I had 1 million, and the other money I would take for my wife and I. We would go on a nice trip. So I think that's what I would do with 1 million, and a little bit would be squirreled away into my IRA. So that's that would be what I do with it. Um, Jaden says it's crazy that 5 people are watching but they're not commenting. Oh, that's usual, bro. Like you have people who will. So you have some people that just want to observe the chat room, and not comment. I don't care as long as they give a like and a subscribe. I'm cool with it. Not everyone wants to talk, so um, he said I feel bad. So he said now it's just me. Agatha. He said never mind, just me. One of your videos just got recommended to me just now. Cool, that's what's up. So the algorithm will feed stuff to you because so my last live I did yesterday, it it was so chock full of ads. So I put it on in the background while I was doing other stuff earlier today. And it took me, even though the stream was only like 2 hours long, it took like 5 hours to get through it with all the ads. So that was actually a W for me. The more ads they place in your content, the more faith they have that people will watch it. So that's good. Agnes says, I know Jaden had to leave, didn't want to relive any news. Oh, so she don't want to hear me talking about the election results. That's cool. Like I said, this isn't going to be a political live stream. I did all that last week. this is just ask me anything. So people, like I said, can literally ask me anything as it's appropriate and respectful. So trying to open up some fruit snacks. Agatha already knows what, me and the fruit snacks. What's my favorite hobby? Running. I'm a runner. Well, I'm a amateur runner, so I run literally every day. I usually run anywhere from 10 to 13 kilometers every day, which is between 6 to 8 miles for you metric phobes. So that's like 6 to 8 miles a day. But yeah, every day I run. Also do martial arts. Sometimes I don't get around to doing martial arts every day, but I'm also, you know, I love martial arts. That's why I'm a self defense coach part time. Um, but yeah, running is my favorite hobby. I guess I don't consider it a hobby. Well, I don't really consider it a hobby so much as a lifestyle, but I guess if you want to call it a hobby, yeah, fruit snacks. You don't want to know how many fruit snacks I have up in here. And these Funables, these are delicious, man. I already told my wife, like, when we have kids, she's gonna have to pack both our lunches with fruit snacks, but I get more than the kid. But yeah, I don't want to tear it with my teeth. He said, "How many? Tell me." Oh, well, I mean, I have like 3 boxes of them right now. I've just crushed one box. Yes, yeah, I just finished the first box yesterday, so it was 4 altogether. So I have 3 left. The different kinds. The other the is so I have 2 Welch's. I mean, sorry, I said I have 2 Funnable boxes, and I have 1 Welch's because the Welch's fruit snacks are really good too, and I think those actually of all of them probably have the most like actual like fruit in it. So Agnes says, "What book you have to read that's fun?" Oh, so that's 2 different stories. To read well, actually, all of them to me are fun. But so I've been currently reading. Look, 2 things. Hold up. So I showed this before, but that was months ago. So one, I'm finishing Detective Comics number 27, the special edition for the Batman day that just passed. Detective Comics 27 was the first appearance of Batman in Detective Comics in May 1939. So they released a special edition for Batman Day. There was 2 versions. Um, this one was the more expensive one. It has a glossy cover, and it's a giant issue. So that's one of the things I'm reading for fun. Uh, but as far as a quote unquote real book, another Batman thing, Batman and Psychology. I haven't finished that yet because I've been reading like 5 things at once. Uh, as the other things I've been reading was, um, I'll show you guys. Meaning in Mind, Fodor and His Critics. This is a very just pure philosophy book, so most people wouldn't get this. So you would have to be like a senior level, at least a junior level philosophy student, at least junior level, but probably senior or grad. Um, but it's edited by one of my professors, George Ray, and his partner Barry Lower. It's on uh, the philosopher Jerry Fodor, who passed a few years ago. I'm pretty upset about that because I was hoping to meet him. Um, a lot of my favorite philosophers passed away in the past 10 years. Saul Kripke died. Um, P.F. Strawson died. Like it, I won't even go into it. But anyway, Daniel Dennett died this year. He was cool as a mug. Um, there's so meaning in mind. He talks a lot about things dealing in philosophy of mind and as well in philosophy of language and like semantics and linguistics stuff like that. So that's what this is about. He's one of those people you would consider a philosopher's philosopher because the work that he did kind of um, gave us a platform for talking about how the mind actually works, like how we can actually talk about the problems of intentionality and rationality in a physical substance. Like for the longest time, a lot of people in both science and philosophy believed in dualism, particularly substance dualism, that there was the substance of the mind or other spiritual whatever, and there was this physical substance, and the two had some sort of interconnection, but were separate worlds. He showed us how all the mental can be explained phys- in, in, in a physicalist explanation. So he so gave us what's called the representational theory of mind, or the computational representational theory of mind, which is basically that, to sum it up, uh, thoughts are basically sentences in, tokened in our brain, and they are defined over computational like processes. It's basically saying the mind works like a computer. Uh, and I'm also still on other nerdy stuff, Batman and philosophy, which goes with the other one, Batman and psychology. It's a good. They're both good intros into those fields from a like comic book geek point of view. This gives like the morality of what Batman does and stuff. And then uh, lastly, I'm reading Star Wars. This was the actual like novel released, the novelization of the movie. But fact factoid, it was actually released before the movie came out because the movie was actually supposed to come out in 1976. It got delayed, but the book still came out in 1976. And George Lucas was uh, he was credited with it, but he had a ghostwriter actually write it for him, who later got credit for it. So those are the things I'm reading. Um, James says, "Geez." He said, "When you were young, what was your favorite cereal?" Mine was s'mores. Um, it depended on what era. When I was a kid, like Captain Crunch, for the longest time, was probably Captain Crunch. But as I got older, I got into like other stuff, um, like Lucky Charms and um, Frosted Flakes and Rice Krispies. But I would say, as when I was really young, for like probably like the first 10 years of my life, it was probably all about Captain Crunch, or all the little movie and cartoon inspired cereals. They were all basically like versions of Captain Crunch. Like Mr. T was basically Captain Crunch. C3POs was like Captain Crunch. Uh, the Gizmo cereal was like Captain Crunch. So like, he said you should read JJK Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't have a lot of manga. I have the first issue of Dragon Ball Z. Uh, I have a Death Note. I have one of those hentai magazines that when I was in that I bought when I was in Tokyo. The Dragon Ball Z I bought while I was in the Philippines at a Japanese store. I also bought a Death Note while I was in this Japanese store, in another Japanese store in the Philippines, like an actual Death Note. Doesn't come with a real uh, Shimikami though, unfortunately. But anyway, um, I have did um, a free issue of One Punch Man when I went to the Otakon here in Maryland, which is like an anime um, convention. It's like one of the biggest ones on the East Coast, Otakon. And last year at Free Comic Book Day, I got a free issue of One Piece, but it's a prequel to One Piece. It gives like the backstory of Ace, you know, his brother. So, uh, love a manga. Oh, I have a Bat manga. Um, it's like the entire collection of the Bat manga was written by like this Japanese manga artist who did like the stuff on Batman, but he did it on like the classic like Silver Age Batman, which is really cool. Then I have another Batman manga, but it's not called Bat manga like the other one, but it's also written by like a manga artist. It's really cool. I don't have Jujutsu Kaisen. I have to watch the series first before I get into like whether I want to buy the manga, because it's funny like with comic books it's the opposite. Usually I read the comic books, then I get into the shows, but with manga I usually get into the anime first, and then I get into the books. But I have literally so many anime to watch. I haven't jumped into Jujutsu Kaisen yet. Like I'm currently still watching One Piece, Rama one half, and there's the new version of Rama one half on Netflix, which I'm also watching. Then I'm watching Datin or Dandan, whatever it's called. This new Netflix show, but it's also on Hulu. Um, I'll jump back into My Hero Academia. Um, the new season of Demon Slayer I'm watching. Um, so many anime. So I haven't even jumped into Jujutsu Kaisen. I was watching Ippo no Hajime. Um, I probably messed that name up. I still gotta watch Hayakuso, whatever that. I forgot how you say that. I have so much anime, so I'm still, and I'm like Black Clover, Fire Force, Spy Family. Like I got so much anime to get through. It's ridiculous, and I only have so much time, especially when I'm also working out, working, being with the wifey, watching other stuff. Like I started getting into Handmaid's Tale, so I haven't been able to jump into Jujutsu Kaisen yet. Maybe I should just watch the first ep. So, uh, Eric Mays retracted his statement. Jaden says, by the way, you sound like a nice guy. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. He said Batman in general is really good. That's my favorite superhero for people that don't know. So definitely my favorite superhero. I literally have like a toy of him that I carry with me from the Toy Biz 1989 uh, toy franchise release. That's like one of my favorite toys. That and Return of the Jedi Luke from 1983. But I think I didn't get into like 1984, 1985 because they kept because the vintage Star Wars line lasted from 1977 to 1985. So I think a lot of the stuff my parents bought me in like 84 and 85, showing you how old I am. But I don't care. I'm still in shape. Agnes says, "What would you do for fun? What do you do for fun? Do you like bowling? Went bowling early today. Had so much fun. Bowling is fun, but I told you like what I like to do for fun is I like watching anime. I like running. I like doing martial arts. Um, I like going to the gym. I like going to the comic book stores and looking for like back issue stuff. Like not so much the new stuff unless it's like something really hot out right now. But I'm looking for like stuff from the 80s and 90s that I want to add to my collection, or I'm looking for vintage toys from the 80s. Oh, um, most of the stuff I've already bought, but there's still some stuff I still want to add to my collection. Um, or there's new stuff out. Like there's now, toys specifically made for adult collectors. So there's a bunch of those that I want to get as well. So that's the sort of stuff I do for fun, or like going to comic cons or anime cons, hanging out with wifey, spending time with her. She's actually really fun. Like she's like I won't say she's my best friend because I think that's kind of weird when guys say their wife is their best friend. But she and I get along really well. Like I actually like spending time with her. Aside from just doing, man, man girl, man woman stuff. Like we actually like hanging out with each other. So she's a good travel partner. So I like traveling. That's another big thing I like to do for fun is traveling. So that subsided during the pandemic. So now getting back into like traveling more often with her. But she can be a little bit of a travel Nazi. like she wants to do any and everything, to that whole day. So she'll have us up like 4 or 5 in the morning. Usually, like I'm used to getting up there early, you know, here at home. So usually when I'm like on vacation overseas or somewhere chilling, I like to get up late. But it's the opposite. She wants to be up bright and early before the rooster crows. So, but yeah, but after I've gotten my coffee and stuff, I'm actually happy she got us up early because then we got more to do for the day. So, but yeah, bowling's cool. I haven't bowled in several years. She said I did a little scuba diving, also just learning. That's cool. I want to do some scuba. I bought some scuba gear that I have right here, which will also be like in my tactical gear as well, in case I need to do something that requires me to be somewhere around deep water. So I have some snorkel gear. I just don't have the fins, but I have like aqua shoes because you don't really need the fins unless you need it. Well, the fins I should probably get fins for tactical purposes. So I might get fins for tactical purposes, but I have aqua shoes, which is good enough for most purposes. Um, but I haven't gone scuba diving or snorkeling yet. I also wanted to try free dive and see how long I can hold my breath underwater because that could be a useful, useful skill. My wife actually already did free diving exercises, and I'm pretty sure that's something they would teach you to do if you went to like the army, the army diving school and stuff like that, which they send other military units to. By the way, before I forget, because it's almost 12 and I almost forgot, big shout out to the Marines. Big shout out to the Marines. If any people are watching who are Marines right now, or if you see this on the replay, happy birthday to the U.S. Marine Corps. Simplify, guys. Like, I'm Army, but hey, if there's anyone that I want to have my six, it's the Marines. Any given day. I want a Marine having my back. No Diddy. But yeah, man. Huge shout out to U.S. Marine Corps. Happy birthday to them. They've been holding it down for a long time, and we're gonna need them in the coming years because there will be some wars in Asia. We already have wars in Asia, and it's probably gonna get worse. But I'm not gonna get political. But I'll just say the wars in Asia are gonna get worse over the few years. So we're gonna need the Marines to hold us down. The 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 Marine infantry and the Army infantry are very similar in both their purpose and organization. The main difference is the Marine infantry is considered an invading force, where the Army is considered an occupying force. So usually that means the Marines go in first, right? Um, and take down targets or whatever. Then the Army comes in and holds that position. So that's an overgeneralization because both both have been known to do both tasks, but generally speaking, that's the difference between Marine infantry and Army infantry. Marine infantry is an invading force. Army is an occupying force. Um, Like I said, no one I would rather have my six than a Marine. And Army and Marine tease each other relentlessly. Like we call them crayon eaters, but it's out of love at the end of the day. Um, I have friends, when I was in the Army that had been, had been both in the Marines and the Army. But on top of that, the reservist unit I was at, we shared a we basically shared a place with the Marines. The Marines we shared it with were a lightly lightly armored vehicle unit, or LAV. They were cool as a they were cool. Like one of the guys even went to school with me. We both went to University of Maryland together at the same time. I even sparred him at the gym. So very, very good stuff. Good stuff. Jane says, W Agatha for keeping up the questions. I know, I'm seriously gonna get Agatha a big hug if I ever see her. Eric says my neighbor drove his car into a lake because he was door dashing, and according to him, the GPS told him to. He said, "I'm now unsure if I'm comfortable living to someone who made that mistake." Yeah, dude, because literally, I thought you were joking or trolling. But if someone's that dumb to pull into a lake just because the GPS told them, they're not working on um all, all the pistons are the cylinders aren't all firing off. You know what I'm saying? That's like just like so when I used to take like Uber or Lyft to work when I used to live in down. I mean, when I used to work in downtown Baltimore, and the GPS would try to get them to go through this alley, and I was like, "Nah, don't take that." I was like, first of all, I was like, that alley is locked on the other end, so you can't get through it. And I was like, two, I'm not. I said the alley's so narrow. I said I'm not even sure that that's safe for your vehicle. He was like, oh man, thank you. And I was like, nah. I was like, yeah, yeah, no problem. Just take a right here, and that's gonna take you right to my office door. He was like, oh okay, thank you. And I mean, they didn't know because they didn't know that on the other end of that alley that it was locked. But because the GPS can give people such bad advice like that, you have to, you have to be wary of your surroundings because GPS will give you the quickest route, but the quickest route may not always be something that's like actually achievable. Like anytime it's going to tell you to go through a lake. Th- that is the very reason why we haven't had automated cars yet, because they still haven't worked out those certain kinks. Like they still haven't given cars that sort of like to have really good like automated driving. It has to be some sort of it has to be better AI, and we just don't have that sort of AI yet. So when you have all these futurists talking about we're already at the point where you know we can do this and that, then they're fault. That's false because we don't have strong AI yet, and there's a huge suspicion in the cognitive science world of which I'm acquainted because that's my background, that the sort of strong AI that people are worrying about in the future may be unattainable because there's a quirk that computer scientists and AI researchers can't overcome, which is the human AI problem. That basically, um, the machine learning cannot do a very basic sort of reasoning that humans do, which is called abductive reasoning or reasoning to the best explanation. The reason being is that we don't understand exactly how it works. Reasoning to the best explanation is where you make an inference from a certain set of premises to a conclusion, but those premises don't guarantee that conclusion. There's a logical jump from that premises to the conclusion, and we haven't been able to explain that. Because we can't explain it, we can't program it. So anyway, sorry to get all nerdy. Uh, Jaden says, "Can we see the Batman plush?" You talking about the pillow that I'm on? This is just a office pillow. My other one is back overseas. My wife sleeps with it because it reminds her of me. Um, but my other Batman plush pillow is overseas. That one I think is actually shaped like Batman. Eric says, I think I need to get his kids to put him in a home because he's going out and breaking bottles on the sidewalk at like 4 in the morning, and he's been doing it for like a month now, almost every day. Wait, how old is this guy? See, not to be mean, but this is why they shouldn't have closed down psychiatric hospitals back in the 70s. After after the shock of books like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and then when it was made into a movie with Jack Nicholson playing as the protagonist, who got lobotomized at the end of the movie. Most people thought that psychiatric hospitals were very cruel institutions, and yes, they did have a lot of problems. But the solution wasn't to close them down. The solution was to improve the quality of these places. But they closed a lot of these places down, and as a result, it doubled. If you're wondering why we have so many homeless, a lot of these homeless people are people who are mentally ill. These will be people who would have been hospitalized 50 years ago and not on the streets. But half of the people you see who are homeless have serious mental illness problems, and the other problem with them shutting down the psychiatric hospitals, going along with the fact that you have so many mentally ill people running around homeless on the streets, is that they made it to harder to involuntary commit someone to to these um, these mental health centers. So um, because of that, some people who really need the help aren't going to seek it because they're not in a position to know they need help, and the people who know they need help rarely can get these people committed unless they do something that's like really dangerous either to themselves or to others. And even then, it would be like a 72-hour um, observation upon which they will probably be released afterwards. So, but this sounds like someone who probably, like I said, 50 years ago, you'd probably call the authorities and say, "Hey, I think this guy needs treatment," so they could observe him for for a few days, make sure he's not a danger to himself or to others. But it's hard to do that nowadays. Um, James is R.I.P. Eric May's neighbor. Well, he's not. He didn't pass, bro. He was just saying the man has issues. Um, Agnes says I too love traveling. Also, James says, "What do you mean tactical? Tactical, like the problem is tactical has become a marketing buzzword nowadays to people who are like two amendment bros or people who are into like the bushcraft and prepping community. Like I consider myself a prepper. Not so much bushcraft. I know some bushcraft skills because of my background in the army. So I'm not big in the bushcraft stuff, but I have some bushcraft skills, via my army training. But um, tactical, like I said, is a marketing buzzword to people who love being in the preppers community or um, bushcraft, or people who are all into the Second Amendment right type communities. Tactical can refer to anything that's made or designed for the purpose of like um, militaristic purposes. So I mean, you got tactical pants, which are made designed for you to carry gear in them. You know, you have tactical flashlights, which I have. So I'm gonna show you some. If you want, watch my video. I do a whole video on my bug out bag, and I made it a live stream. But like, so a tactical flashlight. So it's pocket size. but it has a really bright lumen. Um, that can blind someone at night, but it's also bright enough that you can send it out and use it as a for signaling. And usually, most of them have like a hard edge, so that you can hit someone with as a weapon. So you can hit them with it, or you can attach it to your firearm. So that's what I mean by tactical. Tactical usually means it's multifunctional, um, and can be used for militaristic purposes, more or less. Uh, Everyone should get a tactical flashlight. You can take them anywhere, either a tactical flashlight or a tactical pen. You can take tactical pens with you on in airports on flights. You can put it on, keep it on your person or your carry on, because they're literally just pens, but they're pens that can also be used to strike someone with. the The secret is, like, when you're going through, when you're going through the lines, like, you know just take the cap off, and put it so the writing part is showing. That way it doesn't look like a weapon, just looks like a pen, because that's what it is, literally just a pen, but it has like a hard edge to it that you can use either to hit someone with or to break glass. So that's a tactical pen, and they're useful if you're just walking around on day to day with it, because, like I said, you can take it into government offices, you can take it on flights, you can carry them literally anywhere. Tactical flashlights as well, but I wouldn't take a tactical flashlight with me on a carry on a flight. But I would pack it in I would put it in my luggage, but I wouldn't take it in my carry on. But anywhere else, you can use a tactical flashlight, like, because it's not a weapon; it's literally just a flashlight. Mo- Anyone in law enforcement will preach to you the value of having a tactical flashlight on you. Like, if Officer Lumen was here, he's one of my moderators. He would probably tell you about the the, the uses of a good tactical flashlight. So tactical, again, meaning like multi-purpose, multifunctional, and can be used for like possible like militaristic purposes, which is, i.e., fighting. Navy? No, that's an insult. Navy? I'm Army. That Oh man, that's that. How you gonna insult me like that? Navy. Uh-uh. That's the Diddy branch of the military. Agatha says my grandfather's a veteran of the army. Shout out to your grandfather, Agatha. Miss Needle's back. She says simple Marines like crayons, army, not LOL. Just kidding. What's up, Miss Needle? Please hit me up. The messages I was sending you, because I was trying to check on you. She said John Doe is laughing, but Marines, they so we call them crayon eaters, and they say, well, your army, that means ain't ready for Marines yet. So that's how we go back and forth. One of my friends, he made up a joke for them, because I told this other Marine, he didn't get mad, but he was just like, yeah, all right, because he's like, oh, you army, huh? He said, yeah, ain't ready for Marines yet. I was like, yeah, was a Marine though. Muscles are required, intelligence not expected. He was like, oh, okay, good one. So, um, he didn't like that one. But hey, like I said, it's good rimming. At the end of the day, like I said, uh, you know, I would love, like, if I want anyone to have my six, it would be a Marine any given day. Any given day. Honestly, I would probably pick them over my own army brothers. But I'm happy with my army brothers having my six as well. But if not, Marines all the way, definitely. Minaj says, "Hi, Grandpa. Where are you from?" First of all, you coming in here with the wrong energy, brother. I'll be nice, but that is your warning because I will smoke you. Jaden says, "Nah, Minaj, you wild." Nah, I gave him a warning. Like if he, he'll, people who've seen my previous streams know. John Doe says, "What branch were you in?" So, like I said, Army. Miss Nita says, "Jaden, he be looking for his grandpa in all the wrong places." I know, right? He need to go to the Blue Oyster. That's probably where his grandfather's from. If you don't know the joke about Blue Oyster, don't worry about it. It's a old Police Academy a joke for people who watched the Police Academy franchise back in the 80s and 90s. Jaden says, "Legend says I'm still searching." Miss Nita says, "Oh heck, man, try McDonald's next." Damn. Jay says, "How about a volcano?" John Doe says, "What the f?" Jeff says, "Never mind, too hot." By the way, oh guys, meet Miss Needle. She's my first moderator. Well, aside from my wife, she's my first moderator. But she's actually a very talented German musician. She lives in Germany. I'm not gonna get more specific than that, but she lives in Germany. She's a talented musician. She has her own YouTube page where she does content creation herself, where she has uploaded a bunch of her own music. Um, and she has both videos up of her performing live and music videos that she's created herself. So go check her out. And she's kind of pretty too. So might want to check her out. But don't have any designs on her because she's mine. That's my German woman. It's like I'm not. Well, I'm actually no. You know what? I'm not playing. Miss Needles is mine. John Doe says I'm lost. Good clean advice is, "What's your opinion on fried chicken?" I don't even know if that's supposed to be a racist joke or not. But if it's a racist joke, it failed because fried chicken is freaking delicious. And I just had some Popeyes earlier, by the way. Um, I don't know what you mean by what's your opinion. Like I said, I don't know if it's a racist joke or you're asking me what type of fried chicken do I prefer, or I don't get it. But it's delicious. If you're asking me what my favorite is, uh, I would say McDonald's fried chicken. And if you're saying McDonald's fried chicken, yeah, you gotta go overseas to get it. So John Doe says Donald Trump 2024. Call me the couch says Trump 2024. He's celebrating. Mr. Oh, Needle, you get the Blue Oyster joke? She gets it. She said, "Ha ha." Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. If you guys you don't get that joke, go do yourself a favor and go watch Blue Oyster. I mean, sorry, go watch Police Academy. It's probably, I'm guessing you can probably find it on Tubi. Like, if you want to see it for free, it's probably either on Tubi or Pluto TV. Those are free streaming services. Or Freevee. Freevee is actually a free streaming service that's attached to Amazon Prime. It's basically like all the content that Amazon Prime allows you to stream for free. For instance, all of every season of The Boys is now, you can now watch on Freevee. It's just with ads. So if you don't mind the ads, you can watch it for free on Freevee. So one of those three streaming services is going to have Police Academy. Check it out. It's hilarious. It made Steve Gutenberg a star. If you get that line from The Simpsons. So, um, Jane says, "I never knew Navy was an insult to you." Yeah, to the Army, that's a huge that's a huge insult. I mean, bro, and I'm not even joking here, because you're probably gonna think I'm just being mean, dude. This is the only place I've seen where people went into boot camp and became less fit. Like, how do you get less fit in boot camp? I'm not even joking. The freaking drill instructors looked out of shape. Like, I get it. You're at sea. You don't get to exercise like that. But still, mm-mm, nah. And I mean, they've always been like, if everyone has their jokes about them, the Marines are known for being stupid. That's why we call them crayon eaters. The Army is known for kind of being stupid themselves, but not as stupid as the Marines. They're known as just basically Army's just known for being stupid and blindly following orders. Air Force is known for not doing anything, like having it easy. Uh, the Coast Guard was known for like also not doing nothing, but the Navy was known for like being kind of LGBTQ. I'll put it that way. So that's why it's considered an insult, because we always considered the Navy kind of soft and effeminate. Although again, shout out to my Navy brothers. Like it's joking and ribbing it. Because at the end of the day, they're cool as shit too. Like one of my closest friends went in the Navy, and I almost joined the Navy myself back when I was 17. Literally the only reason I didn't, I've told this story a number of times though. Literally the only reason I didn't join back in high school when I was 17 was because I had a girlfriend. I was like, I want to stay here with my girlfriend. That was the reason. And I think the only reason I had even considered it was because the recruiter was cute as hell. So it's cute. I think she was white. She had like freckles. Like she looked the like she looked like if the like Wendy's, like the picture of the the Wendy's logo. Like yes, I know it's really based on Dave Wendy's daughter, but his daughter herself was not really that cute as the logo they created. But this recruiter looked like the embodiment of that of that Wendy's logo. Like she was cute. So anyway, Jane says, "Hey yo." Agnes says, "What's her channel?" No, that's literally the name of her channel is Miss Needle. Like her name, that's the name of her channel is Miss Needle. Agnes says, "I love fried chicken." I know, right? You can't insult people with something this delicious. That doesn't work. Like, because next someone will be saying something about watermelon. Again, watermelon is freaking delicious. Now I know some people don't like watermelon because they don't like melon, but for people who do like watermelon, watermelon is delicious, and they love it overseas. Again, we both travel, Agatha, so we know that some of the things that people fret about here is not even a consideration over there. Like fried, like in Japan, going to KFC is like a Christmas tradition now. Like people will buy fried chicken from KFC as a Christmas tradition ever since this campaign back in the early 90s where KFC was promoting their franchise in Japan, and it became associated with Christmas. So now it's a Christmas tradition to buy KFC for friends and family during the Christmas holiday. But also, like I said, they love watermelon over there. Like almost everywhere in East Asia and Southeast Asia, they love watermelon. So John Doe said, "What's the inside joke?" You talking about I, you probably talking about when we talking about the blue oyster. You like again, you gotta watch both the Police Academy to get why it's a funny joke. If I explain it to you, it's not gonna be funny. So I'd rather you just watch it and then you will see. Oh, you can be like, oh, I get it. Then what made it funny is they kept doing it for like they did it for like four more movies because Police Academy went up into like I think it went up to like eight movies, but I stopped watching it after the fifth movie because that was the last one. The fourth movie or the fifth movie was the last one. Steve Gutenberg was in it, and he was the star of the franchise up until then. So when he left is when I stopped watching it. But it went up to like eight eight movies, and they probably had Blue Oyster throughout all of them. But through all the ones that I did watch, there was always a scene with the Blue Oyster. Miss Neal says no, Police Academy ain't on YouTube. I think I wish, though it's hilarious. No, I was saying Miss Needle try Pluto, not YouTube, Pluto TV. It's a free streaming service, or try Tubi, Tubi. Tubi is like a free streaming service. People don't know. There's a lot of good content on Tubi. Tubi is how I watched Terrifier 1 and 2 on Halloween because I had nothing to do on Halloween. So I was like, I'm gonna watch the Terrifier franchise. Part 3 is currently out in the theaters, so I was like, well, let me see if I want to watch part 3. So I watched 1 and 2 on Tubi, and I also watched All Hallows Eve Part 1, which is the prequel to Terrifier, because Terrifier is a spinoff off of All Hallows Eve, where that's the first time they showed Art the Clown. But in that, he wasn't like the main slasher. It was like a bunch of stuff going on, cobbled together. And then the spinoff was Terrifier, which was only about just Art the Clown himself. Where in the first movie, he starts off as just a deranged serial killer dressed as a clown. But in part two, he's actually brought back by this demon girl called the pale faced girl or something like that. She brings him back as a demon, and it's weird. It's very weird, and the death scenes are very brutal, very brutal. But what makes the only thing that makes it watchable is that Art the Clown is a hilarious person because like unlike most slashes, he's not he doesn't he's not killing people out of anger or revenge. He just does it because he's petty. Like either because he's petty or somebody did something to him. Like if he's just doing his thing and you come up and just push him like fuck you pal, he'll murder you. But again, he's more of a normal person sort of like deranged, like it's weird because he's a childlike as well. But like I say, he'll kill people just out of like you know because you did something mean to him or he's just being petty. Like um, Jaden says Jujutsu Kaisen is technically My Hero Academia. He said if you like, I, I guess. Like I said, I haven't gotten into it yet. I might watch the first episode to see how I stand on that. I still gotta watch the first episode of Spy Family too. And I'm still trying to find. I can't find anywhere the anime Bento. I remember it was on the Funimation channel a long time ago. Comcast Xfinity used to have a Funimation channel, and I used to watch hella anime on that like 10 years ago. So much anime, and then they shut the channel down because it wasn't doing that well. I'm like, how is it not doing well? I was like, I'm pretty sure every weeaboo from both sides of the coast of the United States was watching it, but actually no, that's not true because Xfinity isn't nationwide; it's only regional. So I bet you if Xfinity was nationwide, Funimation would have never got shut down because I'm pretty sure it was a ton of anime geeks and weebs watching the Funimation channel every week because they uploaded new content every Friday, and that's how I got to see the show called Bento. I think no, it was either on Funimation channel or I saw it on wasn't Crunchyroll because I wasn't watching Crunchyroll then, or I watched it as a torrent, whatever. But I can't find that series anywhere, and it's like I almost felt like I was gaslighting myself. Like, did I really watch this? Because I confused it with Food Wars, which is another anime I'm watching. Because I was like, no, it's not Food Wars, but Food Wars is good too. Jane says, if you like fighter jets, what's your favorite one? Pause, because that. I guess Harrier jets. Because when I was a kid, I bought a model jet. It was a Harrier jet, and I liked them because I found out they were called jump jets because they didn't. Harrier jets don't need a runway to get off the ground. They can more quote unquote jump into the air and then shoot off that way. Like if you saw uh, uh, that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie back in 1995. Was it with he and Jamie Curtis and Tia Carrera and Tom Arnold? What was that movie called? I forgot, but he was flying a Harrier jet in that movie. Those are my favorite fighting jets. Uh, John Doyle says first and last. Agla says, "Do you know after my graduation, I was thinking of joining the Secret Service. I asked my mom what's her opinion. She says I don't think so. I was so disappointed. You should have did it anyway. Don't ever. No, with all due respect to your mom, don't let a parent deter you from what you want to do. If you want to join the Secret Service, you should. I had a friend that actually joined the Secret Service. I know you thinking, oh, you just saying that. No, like when I was at Maryland, so my friend, he was cool ass Asian dude, Vietnamese guy. He had transferred to Maryland from University of California, Irvine. Like he wanted to get away from there because he was saying it was too many Asians, and it's true. Like the University of California system, most most of those universities are flooded with Asians because they overperform in academics in most places across the country. Not their fault for having academic excellence. But it was so to the point that some of these so many campuses across the states actually trying to limit how many Asian students they admit to the campus because they don't want them to be overrepresented in the student body population. But he was saying even there, he was like, "Yo, it was just too many Asians." He's like, "That's why I came over to the east." And his brother was also in D.C. or North Virginia as well. And he was like, "Yo, I'm applying to Secret Service." I don't want to reveal his name because but you know, uh, so like a year and like he had 1 year left of school, and that following summer, while he was waiting for his response back from the Secret Service, since his family was from California, he got to work at the Playboy Mansion as a bodyguard over the summer. He even met Hugh Hefner while he was still alive. He was like, "Yo, Hugh Hefner was cool as shit." He was like, his only rule was like, you can't mess with his girls. Like you can mess with the girls at the mansion, but not the ones who are currently under in his rotation, if you know what I mean. So you know, so he worked there over the summer, and then when he graduated, he got called up, and he was in the Secret Service. Like we kind of lost contact, and then got we came back into contact a few years later. Like I saw him on MySpace. Um, he was in uniform. He seemed he was happy, but I haven't gotten in touch with him since. I haven't seen him on Facebook or anywhere. I wish I could reach out to him, see how he's doing. But he was also one of my fellow martial arts brothers. Like he taught me like some Muay Thai moves. Like um, I didn't really know much Muay Thai at the time. Just a little bit from my Jeet Kune Do classes, but not much. That and like a book I had read on it. But he taught me the stance. He taught me how to do a switch kick. Most of you won't know what I'm talking about. Anyone who knows Muay Thai knows the obsession that Thai boxers have with the switch kick. So he taught me how to switch kick. So Mr. Bro, but yeah, he went to the Secret Service. He's been happy. Um, you should have considered it. I mean, you're still young. I mean, you can, if you still want to apply, why not? I'm not gonna put out your age here, since I don't know if you want me to say that here, but if you still want to do it, go for it, Agatha. Um, Jane says, I'm guessing that Miss Needle and Agatha and me are still here. I hope so. Agatha says, I'm here staying until he logs off. Oh, my sweetheart. Jaden says, me too. He said, I don't like the streamer under your stream. The, str- the streamer under my stream? I'm not sure what you mean. John Doe says, what does JJK mean? He's talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, the anime and manga series. Jane says, her voice is too loud. Who? The st- uh, Jane says, yeah, JJK means Jujutsu Kaisen. John Doe says, no. Sherry Coon says, that's crazy. John Doyo's is 100% a minor. Probably. He said, all right, these guys. All right, I ain't going to get into all that. Jane says, I'm 19. I forgot my fruit snacks, guys. Hold on, I need to take a water break. My Throat skin scratchy. Pause. By the way, yeah. So yeah, anime lo-fi. You might be able to hear it in the background. See what time it is. So it is now past midnight. So yesterday, November 10th, was the U.S. Marine Corps birthday. It's past midnight. It is November 11th. So guess what it is today? But I'm going to do a stream about this later today. It is Veterans Day. So shout out to all the veterans out there. Um, but I'm gonna do a stream. My stream will just be on Veterans Day later on today. So, so what else you been doing out there, Agatha? By the way, did you go with the hubby to Cayman, or did you just go? Did you go solo? And where's Officer Lumen, Agatha? Did you chase that man off? I haven't seen him ever since I tried to hook him up with your sister. Um, that man's been. You did a girls trip. Uh-oh. I'm I'm joking. Hey, have your fun. Whatever. I'm not here to judge. Just saying, if I was there, no, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, I've never. So I've never known like what part in the islands I would want to go to. I, only thing I wanted to do was like a Caribbean cruise where I could island hop. Like every stop you could offload and enjoy the island, get back on the ship, cruise to the next island. I wanted to do one of those sort of cruises, but I never had any particular island that I said I must visit since I'm not really a Caribbean sort of person. Like if I'm gonna enjoy the beaches, to I'm biased. To me, the best beaches are in the Pacific, especially around like Southeast Asia or the Pacific islands like Fiji, Tahiti. You know, Agatha, the Cayman Islands is very nice. Are they mostly black people there, Agatha? And John Doe and Jaden, yo, guys, chill. It's not mostly like black people, because I forget. Because I'm wondering if that's where um Kelsey Grammer is from. So for most people don't realize Kelsey Grammer, who plays Kramer. I mean, not Kramer. I'm sorry. Why I keep saying Kramer? He plays what's the psychiatrist the show that spun off of Cheers. Like I don't watch the show every week, and I can't remember the name of it. Damn. Kramer, not Kramer. The worst. I got no. I actually gotta go to my Disney Plus so I can remember it. But he's actually from the islands. He also plays Sideshow Bob, the voice of Sideshow Bob. Um, yeah, guys, I'm watching so much anime and other like cartoons, but Black Clover, Fire Force, Devil's Line, Devil's a Part Timer, Toilet Bound, Hanako Kun, Chainsaw Man. That time I got reincarnated as a slime, Food Wars, Naruto Shippuden. Yeah, I haven't finished that yet. Sailor Moon, the original Sailor Moon. Nana, um, Yu-Gi-Oh, the original Yu-Gi-Oh, My Hero Academia, but yada yada yada. But yeah, it's Frasier, not Kramer. Yeah, uh, Rama one half, the original Dragon Ball, original Rama one half. But yeah, Frasier. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so the actor who plays Frasier, Kelsey Grammer, he's originally from the Caribbean, but I don't remember which. I don't think it was. I don't think it was the Cayman Islands though. I'm thinking it was like Grenada or Bermuda or something like that. I just I can't look it up right now. She said lots of Americans buying homes and living there. See, with me, if I was to live somewhere in the islands, I would choose one that's owned by America. That way I could use my VA home loan. So like I could go to the US Virgin Islands, or I can go somewhere way off in the Pacific, like the Northern Mariana Islands, or even American Samoa, and buy a house there dirt cheap and use my VA home loan because it's still US territory. So anywhere it's US territory, I can still use my VA home loan. So for you service members who don't know that, who's watching or might be watching this on replay, guys, if you want to live somewhere exotic after you leave the military, think of the Pacific Islands or even the Caribbean, like Puerto Rico or US Virgin Islands. You can live in these little island paradises and be a homeowner because you can use your VA home loan in those places. So, uh, Agnes says also they have a lots. They have lots of offshore banking, and that's where the alias of rich people live on vacation. Oh, I know. That that's what I was. That was literally what I was thinking about yesterday when you said the Cayman Islands. I was like, Cayman Islands. I was like, let me find out. Agatha is like low key, like super rich, but hasn't dropped me a super chat. I'm joking, but you could drop me a super chat. But nah, I was like, if you low, I was, let me think. I was like, oh, you low key rich. Talking about Cayman Islands because when I think of Cayman Islands, I think of offshore banking. Like, those are one of the two popular places that people offshore banking is the Cayman Islands and the Swiss banks. So they came after the Swiss banks and the Cayman Islands recently, but they're still pretty popular places offshore. What people don't know is that those aren't the only places to offshore banking do offshore banking. Um, for me, another place I can offshore bank is the Philippines because I can deposit it in my wife's accounts there. So, um, Jane says I'm doing emojis and someone is copying me. Hmm. Agnes says I'm thinking when I'm ready to get married, I want a beach wedding in the Cayman Islands. Oh, you must really like it there. But no, I was saying so the natives are most of the natives black people, or do they still have like a lot of indigenous people there? Because like there's some places because most people think all indigenous people were wiped out after the arrival of Columbus, um, to the New World when he discovered and explored the Caribbean and the West Indies. And yes, he did pretty much completely obliterate the Carib people from which the Caribbean is named, and like the Arawak people. But there were still natives in places like Jamaica, um, and in places like the Dominica Islands and some of the other smaller, uh, less explored Caribbean islands. There has still been native indigenous people. Wish Moonlit Fern was here to talk about that, including the Taino people of Puerto Rico. I think they lived in both the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, but the Taino people, they're still there, or what's left of them. Most of them have blended with the people who came to populate the islands. The African slaves and the Spaniards. But there are some people who are still have a large percentage of Taino ancestry. She's like, yes, mixed. Okay, cool. James says, what type of music do you like? I mean, mostly hip hop, but hip hop like from like the 2010s. Like, there's not really a lot of stuff that came out in the 2020s I like, and even the stuff I like in the 2010s has been a mixed bag. Like, not a lot of stuff, but 2000s, 2010s when it fell off for me. Um, a lot of hip hop, European classical music, um, rock music, like classic, classic rock, or what you call dad rock, um, grunge rock, even some death metal. Um, then obviously the heavy metal or glam rock from the 80s and 90s, R&B, reggae, reggaeton, soca, stuff like that. Agnes says yes, Native's still there. Cool. Jane says hip hop don't stop. But yeah, there's not a lot of hip hop I'm too thrilled with at the moment. And really, I don't even listen to music that much anymore. Like, usually I only listen to music either when I'm working out or driving somewhere. And I rarely drive, so I'm rarely listening to music, like I said, other than when I'm working out. And I've actually gotten it to the point where most of the time I don't even listen to music while I'm running, because depending on the time of day or where I am, I might want to be more aware of my surroundings, and the music can be a distraction. And I feel more of a zen like process when I'm just zoning out without music while I'm running, just absorbing, the atmosphere. But I'll generally listen to music only when I'm working out. Agnes says, how do you do the super chats? Do you have to put a credit card, like, to be sure? So I have never done a super chat myself. I actually said that I would go to one of the big content creators and drop a super chat so I can introduce myself to them and have them shout me out so it could help my channel. But I haven't done it yet. But I think you can use a debit card or credit card. Um, you know, um, that I don't. By the way, I don't get that information. That goes to Google, YouTube. Like, they get that information. I don't get that. So anyone who drops like money to me, the only thing I see is the amount of money that they gave me and who sent it. That's it. I don't have any access to your accounts. Just like when I'm using Google for stuff, or if I'm if I want to boost a post or boost the content, because I also do that on my Facebook business accounts. Like, I'll boost a post or stuff like that. Uh, Miss Neil says, what kind of culture in terms of artists and musicians do you remember from childhood? You been to any cool concerts or galleries? Oh, that's a good question. So that's the question no one's asked me. So here's the funny thing. My uncle said they were worried about me because I was a kid. Because when I was little, I used to like Boy George. I didn't know what Boy George was. Like, I didn't know that he was like, he today I think would be considered. I, I don't know. They didn't have. This is the thing. Like, they didn't have terms for this stuff back then in that community. But I guess he might be considered non-binary by today's standards. He He's still alive, by the way, so I don't know what he would call himself, like Boy George and the Culture Club. If you don't know who they are, like if you ever watched that the Adam Sandler movie, The Wedding Singer, that was the Culture Club. Although they didn't have Boy George in it, it was just the rest of his group, the Culture Club. He was like one of my favorite favorite musicians because he used to have this song called Karma Chameleon. I didn't I like the song, but again, I was like 5, 6 years old. I didn't know what his situation. I mean, but here's the thing: almost every like male singer in the '80s was like, how do I want to put it? Sus. every Michael was my other favorite was Michael Jackson. He was sus. Boy George was sus. Prince was sus. Like uh some of these early rappers like Dr. Dre and Cameo, they look sus. like, you know, it was just the era. Like Charlie, if you guys ever watched the Chappelle show, like Charlie Murphy said, he said everyone looked like a bitch back in back then. He said because that was the era. He said everyone wore makeup and had jerry curls or long braids and wear these glittering outfits because that was just the '80s. He said he was like Shalimar. He was like people used to be like, "Yo, Shalimar fine as fuck." He was like, "Yo, Shalimar is a dude." He was right. But yeah, it was the '80s, so but yeah, I like Boy George, Michael Jackson, Prince. Prince himself, when he was questioned about it in like the 2010s, he said, "Yeah." He said, "I don't really have a label for what I call myself." He said, but he definitely identified with, the LGBTQ community, but no one cared because he was just that dude. Like comedians used to say, "Yo, he was like Prince can come up to you in high heels and steal your girl." He said he was like he'll fuck your girl and you too. But yo, yeah. Then there was like it was some rappers I like back in like Run DMC, of course. Um, the Fat Boys. Um, I didn't really go to any concerts when I was a kid. The first, let's say, mm, I would say like the first concert I went to was like around like I think Winter Jam '95 in DC when I went with my Indian homeboy. Like that was like my best friend in high school and college. He his sister his sister's friend and someone else, they all came with us. One of his one of his sister's friends was like this cute Caribbean girl, and because I remember like the people that came to the Winter Jam, it was like LL Cool J. I think Foxy Brown was supposed to show up. She didn't. Total came. Um, a few other R&B groups came, but LL Cool J was like the hottest one on the ticket. But I think it was like Foxy Brown didn't show up, or it was either Foxy Brown or Lil Kim. I think it was Foxy Brown, and she was like, "Don't worry, I'll be a Foxy Brown." And me and my homeboy was looking at each other like, "All right," you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that was my first concert when I was 18. Yeah, yeah, I think when I was 18, I think that was the Winter Jam '95. It was either no, I think it was Winter Jam like '96 or something like that, or '95. That was the first concert I've been to. Like I said, it was like LL Cool J, Foxy Brown. She didn't show up. Total. Uh, this R&B group to sing just in case I don't make it home tonight. Something, 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 baby. Like whatever. Like that group. Um, and like I said, Total, and it was another group there. They all rocked it. That was like my first concert in DC. James says Miss Nito. He's I checked Mount Everest, but still couldn't find him. Jane, Miss Neil said, Jen, dang, you went without oxygen tank. He said, didn't you know that if you Google something that no one has ever Googled, they award you for the first person to Google it? For real? I, that I didn't know. But that's gonna be hard to do now because what about with the Gemini search? Because I'm pretty sure people have asked Gemini everything under the sun, like because Gemini is their equivalent to Chat GPT. And I've been using Google Gemini like crazy. Like I've had arguments with Gemini, and I actually had to correct it on things. And because it has it's it does machine learning. It'll actually tell you when you've corrected it. Like it'll say, "Oh, you're absolutely right," blah 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 blah. But received I've never received an award on Gemini for correcting it. So I didn't know that Google did that. That's actually pretty cool. Miss Nita says, "Boy George, they have a documentary up on YouTube about them. Pretty wild story." I have to imagine so because I remember him bragging like 5 years ago that he fucked Prince, and I'm like, dude, why are you putting that man's info out there? I was like, whatever y'all did, like, especially now that Prince considered himself like a born again Christian, and he didn't perform some of his more debaucherous songs because he's like a born again Christian. I think he's like a seven. He's now like a seventh. Before he died, he was like a Seventh Day Adventist. So and he got married. So he was married. He was a Seventh Day Adventist. So he chilled out on some of his more raunchy material from back in the 80s and late 70s. But I was like, I was like, kind of, I was like, that's kind of ill for him to bring up that man's whatever you did personally with that dude. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't think that was pretty cool of him. Jane says I'm built different. John, don't chill. Um, Miss Nita says you remember the art scene too, like Basquiat and Warhol and the Factory and Eddie Sedgwick. I mean, they were like 60s, 70s, but some of them lived to the 80s. Uh-uh. Look, when I was a kid, I first grew up in Baltimore City. We definitely weren't looking at stuff like Andy Warhol or Basquiat. Um, and even when I moved out of Baltimore, I moved to Illinois, to Chicago. So this is like middle America in the the early 80s. Like it was either like it was either hip hop or rock because like that was the birth of MTV. I'm the quote unquote MTV generation. You know, born in '77, which is so I'm also a Star Wars generation. Everyone born from 1977 to 1983 is considered the Star Wars generation, or the Zennials. Um, and we were the first to experience like MTV. So when we came of age as teenagers, we were all called the MTV generation. So I pretty much grew up on rock and hip hop. I didn't really get into stuff like jazz or other stuff like that until like I was an adult because my father would listen to jazz, and so jazz used to always put me to sleep, so I was never into it. The only thing I was into that most kids weren't into as a young kid, I was into European classical music, and that was because of school. When I moved to Illinois, we had a music class where we learned about the classical composers, and loved the music. I was like, this music is beautiful, and I got to know stuff like Brahms and Beethoven and Bach and Mozart and and Chopin and Dvorak. Like the, to this day, like I still have a collection. The only CDs I still have, musical CDs, are actually my collection of musical uh, classical composers. I even showed my professor once, like, because I went to his, I went his to his office hours, and we were just basically just having like a little chat. Like I think it was originally about something pertaining to the class, but then we just started talking about random stuff, and I was like, because I think he was listening to classical music in the background, and I was like, "Oh, you listen to classical music?" He said, "Yeah." I was like, "Hey, I just actually bought a collection of classical CDs from the music store up the street." Because which was a thing in itself because most music stores had closed by the early 2000s, but it was still one in College Park that was still around. And I showed him. He's like, "Oh," he says, "So yeah," he says, "So we're into similar stuff." And that was like that was brownie points that hey, this this little black kid that is into classical European music. So, but yeah, that outside of like I said, outside of rock and hip hop, that was like really one of the only like uh music types that I like that wasn't like mainstream music. Yeah, why y'all going at it? Jane says, John, I bet your favorite song is Wake Up in the Morning feeling like P. Diddy. Look, and not to defend Diddy, but I'm still gonna listen to his music, guys. Like I said with R. Kelly several years ago, I'm not gonna stop listening to someone's music because of what they did in their personal life. Because if that were the case, I would probably stop listening to a lot of people's music. I mean, look at the Rolling. Like, so many rock stars have been gotten away with stuff, and it's like on the record, like one of the guys from the Rolling Stones. I mean, like, I could. I'm not gonna even go to all the rock stars who've done stuff. Elvis, like, I mean, look, I'm not gonna stop listening to someone's music because they did something disdainful. Because besides that, like I said, just like I said, R. Kelly has produced so much music from the '90s to the 2010s that if you were to stop listening to anything that he's connected with, you would have to throw out a lot of music. And I'm not just talking about black music. I'm talking about like there are pops, like there are pop stars and rock stars who've been produced by R. Kelly. Like the the music, like there's been hardly any part of music that hasn't been touched by R. Kelly. Pause. Between the '90s and the 2010s. I'm not gonna stop listening to huge catalogs of music just because he produced it or he put down some lyrics or collaborated with something. No, I mean, are you gonna really like stop listening to like Michael Jackson because he produced something? Well, okay, that's a bad example. um, what's a better example? Like, um, what's the Canadian star this sung the song for Titanic? Are you gonna really stop listening to her because R. Kelly produced one of her songs, or Janet Jackson, or Luther Vandross, or I could just name so many people. Usher, like, are, we're gonna throw away entire catalogs of music because of something someone allegedly did that people didn't care about until people stopped getting paid. But I'm not gonna even go there. Um, Same thing with Diddy. Like he's been a music mogul since the '90s. Like his career started in 1991. Am I gonna throw away whole catalogs of music that he's touched because of his problem? Nah, I'm not. Biggie is and always will be my favorite rap star. So I'm not throwing away all my Biggie music. Stop listening to Biggie because of what Diddy did. Hell no. Nor Mace, nor Faith, The Locks, Craig Mack. Uh, all, like I said, he's one of those mega producers too. Like to throw away both anything that R. Kelly and Diddy did will leave you with not a lot of music left to listen to. So They still going at it. Agla says I still like R. Kelly music too. Agla, have you ever seen like the like videos on like Facebook or YouTube, and it's like the girl and the guy and the R. Kelly music come on, they like looking at each other like they want to dance, but they like looking like they ashamed. Like I ain't like he's like you can turn it off if you want to. He's like nah, you can turn it off if you want to. I'm like nah, you can listen to it. All right, if you want to, but I don't need to listen to it. And then and then they like sit there like it's funny. I've seen like at least one or two videos like that where the people pretending they don't like they still not into that music. Like it's not still like the greatest music that's ever been made. It's funny as I don't know what. I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna stop listening to bro. Like I was like, I'll cancel R. Kelly when y'all cancel the Rolling Stones, when y'all cancel Elvis, when y'all cancel well, I want to give them ideas because I was about to say Marvin Gaye, but I don't want them to cancel Marvin Gaye. They found it like we're not canceling Marvin Gaye. So, um, like, so and so, like I said, so many other rockers I can mention, like at least a dozen of them, from Aerosmith, Rolling Stones. Not saying the entire band did something, but members of the band did stuff. And it's like, if no one's canceling them, why should we cancel these black artists? I'm not, so screw it. And I shouldn't even throw Marvin Gaye out there because I don't want people knowing what he allegedly did. Because I don't want people to be like, yeah, we need to cancel Marvin Gaye too. No, we don't. No, we don't. So, Agus says, what's your favorite sport? Muay Thai. You've been here long enough. You should know that. Muay Thai. Uh, I'm joking. Well, Muay Thai, yeah, Muay Thai and kickboxing. And no, Muay Thai is not a form of kickboxing. They are very similar, but is both a Muay Thai is both a martial art and a sport. Um, and its rule setting is beyond what kickboxing does. Like kickboxing started in Japan, and well, then what we know more of kickboxing today is American kickboxing started in the 70s under Bruce Lee's student Joe Louis, who at the time was already a full contact karate champion. And, you know, Bruce kind of showed him Jeet Kune Do, which he used the principles that he learned from Bruce Lee in Jeet Kune Do to take full contact karate and develop it into American kickboxing because he didn't like the rule set of karate as a sport. So he was he's considered the founder of American kickboxing that came through his tutelage under uh, um, Shijo Bruce Lee. I call him Shijo because since I'm trained in Bruce Lee's arts, he's considered the founding father of that art. So we refer to him as Shijo Bruce. So anyway, later on in Jeet Kune Do, Muay Thai was heavily influenced in it, so much so that back in like the 80s and 90s, to get certification in Jeet Kune Do, you had to first get certification in Muay Thai. But they relaxed the standards because for some people that was too strenuous. So they just said, well, you have to have a background in Muay Thai. You don't necessarily have to be certified in it, but you do have to have a background in Muay Thai to get certified in Jeet Kune Do. A lot of people don't know that. Um, but yeah, but Muay Thai became, but as I learned more Muay Thai became, I actually enjoy Muay Thai better than Jeet Kune Do, which is why there's different flavors of Jeet Kune Do nowadays. So I favor the Jeet Kune Do kickboxing, which is heavily inspired by Muay Thai and the French kickboxing style Savate. So, but my favorite sport, since there's no sport for Jeet Kune Do itself, it would be Muay Thai because I like Muay Thai better than kickboxing because there's more that you can do. You can you don't get the clinch and elbow in kickboxing. You can clinch and elbow in Muay Thai. So sorry for that long answer. Miss Neal says J and G, so many pancakes. You better open up a business. Sam maybe okay. He said basketball, love it. Oh, actually saying your favorite sport is basketball. So wait a minute, Miss Nita, what's your favorite sport if you have one? Because you never talked about sports before. I don't think when you and I have talked. Do you have a favorite? Jane says best YouTuber on this planet. Thank you, appreciate it. Agatha says yes. Okay, can you play basketball? My cousin, who I've been ribbing for the past 2 months, was like I've been ribbing her because she's like overweight and has type 2 diabetes, but she was an all American athlete in basketball back in the day. Like she even played for college. She played college basketball for a little while, so she had a chance to go semi pro, but she graduated and then went on to become a cop. So Agnes says yes in high school. Okay, if you played basketball in high school, you're probably in good shape. Okay, getting your little Angela Reese on. And female athletes are sexy, by the way. It's like I don't know what it is, but I, when I know a chick is an athlete, I want to clap her cheeks. I don't know why, but I don't know. This is something sexy about a female athlete. I don't know. I guess that would be sort of like why guys will want to like smash Wonder Woman or something, because and volleyball. Oh, okay, so you got legs then. Every every chick that's done volleyball has like long legs and strong thighs. Like could pop a watermelon with them bad boys. Well, at least the ones I knew in college, like they all had like long legs, and like the volleyball outfits are very skimpy anyway, so it's like it leaves nothing to the imagination. So I'm like watching them just to appreciate. I mean, one day like I'm gonna support them because they're lady terps, so I'm supporting them. Like when I used to work at the campus recreation center, and one of the recreation centers is where they had held the volleyball games. So I've seen a few. Um, Tried to highlight one of them. No, I think she had a boyfriend or something though, but whatever. Anyway, she was hot. um, but yeah, that definitely gave me a crush on like volleyball uh, athletes back then. Matter of fact, then my cousin, she played volleyball too. Like, I don't know what it is. Why do so many female athletes do both basketball and volleyball? Because she did volleyball too as well. I remember that now. Now you just reminded me. But she was an All American athlete in basketball, and her brother, I think, had almost went All American too, but he couldn't keep his grades up. So, but he was mentioned in the Baltimore Sun. So he said, Agnes says we all bend down when we picking the ball. Hey, don't give me thoughts. You know what I'm saying, Jaden? He said we are teasers. So y'all are like purposely like sh- trying to show cheeks. Like you saying you purposely showing cheeks Like that's what y'all used to do. Yeah. I trying to say now what I'm trying not to say what I'm thinking here. So yeah. So y'all purposely showing off cheeks, man. See, yep, wouldn't play with me because I hit it like a. Let me stop. I hit it like a batter in the ninth inning, and the score's tied. Shit. Just raw. I'm surprised I don't have kids already because man, well probably because I a lot of stuff I was gonna do I didn't do. But yeah, I but yeah I really didn't have access to like the athletes until like college. Well, no, one of my funny thing is, so one of my girlfriends in high school did play basketball, but she played JV. She didn't play varsity, and everyone kept trying to say she was like my cousin, and that was getting weird. I'm like, y'all need to stop saying because they was like, yo, she even looks like her. I'm like, no, she doesn't, because they because she was like light skinned like my cousin. She was tall, but not as tall as my cousin. Like she wasn't taller than me, so she wasn't that tall. Um, but she couldn't wear like really high heels, or she would have been taller than me when we like because we went to like the junior ring dance together. Because at the time we was not letting we didn't want anyone to know we were together. But I think that was more for her benefit than I was because she was actually sort of a female player back then. I didn't know until later on, which is why we weren't together anymore. But um, yeah, people were saying like, "Yeah, you got someone that's like your cousin." I'm like, "Dude, chill." Like, it was even family members saying that, like, "Oh, you got someone just like your cousin." I'm like, "No." I was like, "That was just a coincidence that she's light skinned, thin, plays basketball, and kind of tomboyish." Like, what female athlete isn't sort of tomboyish? But I had some fun with her, and she bought me, and she bought me my first raps. She bought me my first rap album. Well, my first. She didn't buy me my first rap album. She bought me like my first like gangster rap, which is Wu Tang. She like when they came out in. Well, she bought it for me in '93. I mean, they came out in '92, but like I think the album dropped like early '93, and she bought it for me in '93 as a birthday gift, I think. Um, so she was, she was cool. She was kind of cool, but she was too much of a female player, and I was a simp. So, um, yeah, but yeah, female athletes are sexy as fuck. Like right now, and I have a huge attraction to like female Thai boxers. I don't know why. Like I love female Thai boxers and kickboxers. I don't like the female BJJ players or female wrestlers. They look too mannish. But the ones who like do kickboxing and Muay Thai, they're sexy. Like Stamp Fair Tax, Supergirl, Javern Sack, her sister, um, Wonder Girl, and a few others. Jackie Bantan, the Filipina Muay Thai, Nak Muay. Nak Muay means Thai boxer. So yeah, Jackie Buntan and quite a few others. Like they all, I watch them just because they're sexy, and they're all like under uh, the one championship. which is better than UFC. I guess it's LOL teenagers. She said lots of guys like to be around us. I bet that's what y'all probably, you and your friends probably causing trouble right now in the Cayman Islands. Like I said, you're lucky I'm not there. Agnes says my sis was a cheerleader in her high school and college. Oh yeah, cheerleaders. It was like the cheerleaders and the pom pom girls. And was it just me, or like the pom pom girls kind of ugly, and then the cheerleaders were good looking? Like it seemed like the pom pom girls were the girls that weren't cute enough to become cheerleaders. Or am I tripping? But yeah, at least at one of my schools, like I felt like well, it seemed like that the girls who became the pom pom squad were less cute than the girls who were like the actual cheerleaders. So, but yeah, like female athletes or cheerleaders, yeah, definitely. See, I wasn't an athlete. Well, I did track and field in high school, but I didn't really want to do any organized sports back then because I was trying to be cool. Like, oh, I'm too cool to pretend. Like, I was pretending not to be smart, uh, and acting like I was too cool to join organized sports. But like, I remember as early as the ninth grade, like the coach came out and said, "Yo, why don't he said, yo, you're good in martial arts." He said, "Why don't you do wrestling?" And I thought about it. I don't know why I didn't. I definitely should have. Jane says water break, which is funny. It's actually raining out here hard right now. You can't see it, but yeah, it's raining pretty hard right now. So I guess you mean you gotta take a, water break. Drink water. Train the kill drill sergeant. Who? No, they do call. The funny thing is, they do actually call water breaks when you're in army training. They just be like, drink water, because you're supposed to hydrate every hour. You're supposed to be like you should be hydrating every hour. So they'll remind you, drink water, especially because we train in a lot of temperate environments. So they will remind you, drink water. And I literally don't drink enough water a day. Like, so I should drink more water, especially because I get dehydrated when I'm running 10 to 13 kilometers every day. What's your favorite type of water? I really don't have any. Back, like, like 10, 20 years ago, I used to love, like, just bottled water. Like, I used to just carry bottled water with me everywhere. And if I didn't have bottled water, I would get one of these little canteens, like my little classic Maryland canteen right here. And I would, like a lot of students, I would walk around with like a little thermos canteen with me everywhere in my book bag. But I could because like they had, on campus, you could get filtered water anywhere on campus. So I would just like whatever whatever building I'm in, pour some filtered water in my canteen and keep it moving. But otherwise, when I was off campus, I would just buy bottled water and carry it with me everywhere. I was obsessed with bottled water. I didn't have a specific brand. It didn't matter whether it was, you know, Dasani or any of the other ones. I will say this though, the Fiji water is overrated. Like I don't see, I've had it and I was like, I don't even like the taste of it to be honest. Like I don't know why people are obsessed with the Fiji water. Like it didn't impress me at all. Like it wasn't bad, but I don't really like the taste of it. So, but back to Agatha and these cheeks. No, I'm joking. No, but I'm kidding. She's taken, guys. So just in case you guys were thinking of shooting your shot, Agatha's actually taken. She's in a she's in a great relationship. I think where they're headed towards tying the knot. And if so, I would like to think I had a role in that. James says water is water wherever you get it, still water. True. I mean, but some places are healthier sources of water than others. But I'm not one of those conspiracy people that think all tap water is tainted and all that sort of stuff. Because it's actually the reverse. Like the federal standards for tap water are actually higher than those for like bottled water. Like bottled water has to rise to the standards of tap water, and most people don't realize that because they think tap water is natural or spring water, not knowing that a lot of those bottling water bottling um, companies. Usually, these are big beverage companies that own these places, and they call it spring water is actually like a marketing term. So unless it actually lists the spring where they've derived the source of that water, if it says spring water, that's literally just a buzz. Like that's literally just a marketing buzzword, sort of like organic food. That's a marketing buzzword because literally all food is organic because organic means anything that's carbon based. Like for the nerds out there, like organic chemistry is the class everyone has to take if they go pre med, and it's usually considered the weed out class. It's the weed out course. Like if you can't pass organic chemistry, you can't do pre med because that is the weed out class, and that's usually one of the first classes you have to take as a pre med student. And you learn like you got to take organic chemistry, then you have to take inorganic chemistry, and literally inorganic chemistry is just whatever is not carbon based. Everything is anything that's carbon based is organic. All food is organic. So literally like when you go to places to sell groceries and you have a separate section for organic food, that's literally just a buzzword to get you to pay more money for food that was grown through so-called natural pesticides and stuff like that, or not knowing that natural pesticides can actually be more toxic than synthetic pesticides. But I don't want to go into that tangent. um Agnes says, sorry, did I get in trouble? No, you didn't get in trouble. I was just saying you like, got some thoughts going when you said the thing about the that y'all used to tease people purposely with the volleyball uniforms because they're, very revealing. uh, Jaden says, but scientifically it's still water. Yeah, of course. I'm just saying what as far as what's healthy. So what a lot of people don't know, the taste of water is basically based on the local bacteria in the water. That's what gives water its individual taste, is the natural biotics in the water. That's why it's dangerous when you go to another country to go off and drink the water because they have it has a different microbiome in that water than what you're accustomed to, which will make you sick. Or like in the Philippines, you don't no one drinks the tap water unless you're like um, people who live on the streets and can't afford to buy water there, but everyone there buys water, or what I told my wife to do is like we'll buy some water, but we'll also have a Brita water filter so we can filter the tap water. But if you don't drink filtered water in the Philippines or buy water there, your butt will be burning. I'll leave it to that. Agatha says maybe I'm drinking too much of my favorite drink, Bailey. She said, "What's your favorite drink?" I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol. I haven't drank since college. I've actually never enjoyed alcohol, and literally the only reason I drank in college was just out of peer not peer pressure, but like drinking with my peers. Like I would go to like the DC nightclubs, or we would pre binge before we get to the club. So when I went with my Indian friend, we got to the clubs early, and we would get all the free drinks before 12 or free drinks before 11 because he got us there early, so we could get all the free drinks. Because usually the free drinks was either like a Long Island tea or Coke and rum or gin and juice. Usually those three were like free drinks, and then only thing you pay for was like the tip. So I was stingy. Like I wouldn't tip on every drink. Like first two drinks I didn't tip. Then like the third or fourth drink I left the tip. But then you know, then I learned some tricks. Like I found out like if you slip the bartender like a hundred, like this is mind you, this is like 20, like 24 years ago, right? 25 years ago. You slip them 100, they'll supply you with free drinks. So, um, but yeah, or like I said, if I was with my black friends, like they never got to the club on time, so they would just pre binge before we got to the club, and we get there about like 12 o'clock, already drunk. But like I said, aside from that, I didn't like to drink. Like I didn't drink in the army except for when I went to Germany because I was like, well, if I'm in Germany, I need to drink beer because this is literally what they're known for. So I bought, the Witzen, was a German beer. I don't know. Maybe Miss Needle can convince me to have one with her. We'll see. Maybe. But I haven't drank in almost 20 years. My favorite drink is iced coffee, as you can recall. That's my favorite drink is, well, because I don't drink alcohol, so my favorite drink is iced coffee. Jaden says it's crazy. This stream has been going on 2 hours. I meant to say stream. Yeah, I didn't realize either. I need to. Oh shit, it is late. Yeah, you're right. Agatha says, "Oh, have a blessed night, getting sleepy." So my Agatha. I'm gonna have some nice dreams. But oh, by the way, again, remember to hit me up. My Instagram is Amon Just a Contrarian, AHMAND, JUSTACONTRARIAN. Jaden says I'm pulling an all nighter. Well, salute to you. I'm not. I gotta work in the morning, and I got work out in the morning. Then I got work. So yeah, I'm already to a late start, and I still need to stretch it out a little bit and and yeah, take a shower. So she said, okay, we'll be back Wednesday. Okay, don't get into any trouble, but hit me up. Like seriously, hit me up. Let me know what's up about the other stuff you were concerned about earlier. I'm well last week now. So all right, and Miss Needle, I don't know if she's there, but I was hoping she hit me up again, guys. Miss Needle, I'm speaking for Miss Needle. We're not officially together, but Miss Needle's mine. So on to, but anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Jane says, when are you streaming again? I'll be there. Like usually I stream every night. Some nights I don't stream because I had did other things. But usually I stream. Usually I found like my key time is usually after 9 p.m. So that's when I usually try to stream. So it'll be around 9 p.m. again tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, because I don't know where you live in. So Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. It's usually when I start streaming. It can be a little later than that, like 10, but usually somewhere between 8 and 10 is when I start my streams. Usually every day. I try to do them earlier, but I found that I wasn't getting a lot of people early. Like either there was no response, or I was getting mostly people from overseas. And because most of my content is geared towards other Americans, it like talking to people from overseas didn't help. Like when I'm having conversations about American focused topics. So, anywho, I'm out, guys. Take it easy. Again, shout out to the U.S. Marine Corps who just had their birthday November 10th. And shout out to veterans today for November 11th is Veterans Day. Guys, go get your free food, whether it's Mission Barbecue. If you live somewhere where there's a Mission Barbecue, Dunkin' Donuts always gives free food. And you can just go online and there's a listing of all the places to give out free food and services to veterans on Veterans Day. It's like a listing, and every state will have different places to do stuff. So, no Dunkin' Donuts, Mission Barbecue, um, what's um what's that restaurant? Forgot what restaurant is, but they give like an entire free meal to veterans. Like it's like usually like a burger and some fries, and I forgot where they go, what the name of it, but I usually go there. It's not Fridays. I don't think it's Friday. I think it's Applebee's. I think it's Applebee's. But yeah, anyway, shout out to vets. But guys, I'm out. Take care. Thank you, Agatha. Talk to you soon. Miss Needle, please hit me up if you're still there, or if you watch this on replay, hit me up, please. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Peace.